So welcome to this first week. Now you might have found out about this through a friend, or I might have told you, hey, check this out, or through some kind of marketing. However you've gotten here is because you want to do a couple of things. You want to train your mind. And for some people that might mean that they've been really anxious or depressed. For some people it's like, I'm overthinking, can't get the thoughts out of my head. I want to learn some techniques in which to help with that. And for some people, they just want to train the mind. They like mindfulness and meditation, they've heard of it, but they don't really know how. This is going to be a week where I explain exactly how to do that. And for some other people, it's like, how do we live in the present moment? What does this word being present mean? And am I being present much during the day? And we're going to explore all of that. And I'm going to get into that. And we're going to explore how we can get into all of that. This isn't a therapy session, right? This is help you going to train your awareness. And by awareness, I mean what's going on in your mind at any given moment. We're going to prove 4 key things. We're going to prove that your thoughts are relentless, that they keep coming back. They're constant all day long, that they're random. You might be thinking about something in the future, now something in the past. You might be thinking, my back's itchy, but then I've got to go to the gym later on, and I've got to do this thing for work. They're random. They're repetitive. These thoughts that we're going to be tracking down, they're going to keep cycling back again and again. And the last one, thoughts are relational, some of them. So you might think about work, that leads you to think about bills, that leads you to think about your manager, or you see something on the table, like your boxing gloves, for example, that triggers a thought about your upcoming fight. Or you might see a bill on the table that triggers a thought about money and when am I going to get this and how am I going to get extra income this year, blah, blah, blah. Those 4 things. And the way we're going to discover that is by filling in our ThinkLog. So there's a little video underneath here that explains exactly how to fill in the ThinkLog and how you're going to set it up to record each day. But what it is a 5-minute session. You're going to sit down, eyes closed, and then for 5 minutes, you're going to say out your thoughts. Just 1 or 2 words. And as you do that, you're recording yourself. And so at the end of those 5 minutes, we're going to write down, we're going to have a list. We can fill in this ThinkLog. What are the thoughts that you're having? And it will blow your mind. You'll realize that you've said thoughts that you didn't think that you were going to say. And then once we do it for each day for the 6 weeks, and that's a 5-minute commit every day, plus the time it takes you to fill in the chart. But then you'll have this solid spreadsheet at the end, which shows you your thought cadence, meaning how many thoughts do you have on average per minute that you notice. And then once you get that spreadsheet, we're going to use and once you have that data, you'll see for yourself the random, the repetition, the relation, the relentlessness of your thoughts. And that's groundbreaking. And so every student that I work with, whether they're fighters or in their corporate space, like I'm doing at the BBC, we start with the same thing. First of all, be aware of the problem. And thinking without knowing you're thinking is a problem. Because you need to be in charge. You need to be the one that says, do I want this thought or not? Okay, so all of the beautiful things that come with being present, we can develop from this. Like when you're watching a good movie, notice the distractions of the thoughts and come back and enjoy the movie. When you're taking a nice walk, notice those thoughts, those hijacking the present moment. And be aware and come back. Choose to come back. We're going to be learning how to choose every time a thought comes up. Do I want this thought or not? Because you might argue, well, thoughts are important, and I don't want just to kind of ignore all these thoughts. It's not about ignoring thoughts. It's just when they arise, it's asking that question. Is now a skillful time for me to be having that thought? Doesn't mean I don't have to address it at some point, but it's now. When I'm with my son and my daughter, is then a good time to think about work-related stuff? When I'm going to the gym, is then a good time to think about my kids? Knowing that there's choice in each moment, that's the key. All right, so I don't really want to do too much talking. I want you to jump into the first few exercises. But I just wanted to welcome you to this. You can reach out to me anytime. And I really want to help people wake up and snap out of this autopilot. And as I call this course, this is a manual pilot. I want you to be in charge and behind the wheel. So I want you to watch the video now where you learn how to fill in that ThinkLog. It's dead simple. And then, so I want you to learn how to fill in the ThinkLog. It's dead simple. You just say it out and then afterwards you're going to write it in. And then there's a couple of questions that I want you to answer as well. A little bit about some of your goals for doing this. And then we can use that to compare afterwards and make sure. And I want to see Has there been genuine improvement? Has there been benefits for you? Because this is, for me, the most important skill you'll ever learn. So I'm Guy. So my name is Guillaume. I've been working with athletes and fighters for over 15 years now. And what began as a passion project, helping people and fighters have a little bit less stress, be a bit more present in the ring, has turned in how do we transform lives? How do we wake people up from this autopilot, this zombie mode, and start and not live under the kind of survival mode, but in the higher, flourishing and thriving mode. So I really hope that you take as much as you can out of this, and it's going to be 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes a day. If you've made it this far here now, stick to those 5 minutes every day, and then let's check back in at the end of the week, and we'll compare So check back in. So we'll check back in at the end of the week when we have all that data, and I'll show you what to do with that data, and to expose your autopilot, and then open the doorway for you to start training the manual version, the manual pilot.